Okay, can I very quickly say the next couple of videos may not be for everybody. It's very difficult for me, as I'm sure you can appreciate, to talk to everybody's level of ability at the same time. And I know there are a lot of people on affiliate.com that are total newcomers, which is fine, incidentally, let me say, but there are also some here that are a little bit more advanced. Now, just so I don't make anybody feel as if they're being left behind, what I'd like to do over the next couple of videos is go through a glossary of terms that those that are newer to this business may not be aware of, or even worse, people may use these terms as if we're all supposed to know exactly what they mean. I remember when I began, this happened so many times. People would say stuff and they wouldn't explain what it meant, and I kind of almost felt a bit embarrassed to ask. So to get rid of all of that, let's go through a glossary of terms. And as I say, this video may not necessarily be for you if you have been doing this for a couple of months or more. But let's jump in straight away. There's a few terms that I want to go through. In fact, there's 14, and you'll hear me mention all of these terms throughout this video course. The first is URL. You may well have heard about a URL. A URL quite simply means the specific address of a web page. Now, everything on the web has its own unique address, just like a house has its own unique address. There's no two houses with exactly the same address. It's exactly the same with web pages. A URL is that particular page. Let me go to Google and quickly show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so I've just gone to Amazon.com, and here is the URL of Amazon.com. Now, they actually all start with http://, although most of us only type in www and then the actual address. Now, most websites are made up of many different pages. Each page has a different URL. So if I click on a link here, for example, let me click on today's deals. When I click on this, just note what happens up here. You'll see something be added to the end. Let me click on this link now and watch up here. There we go. Look, boom. We're still at Amazon.com, of course. We're still at the same Amazon website, but we're just looking at a different page. So all this up here is the URL of this particular page. So if I say to you, type in the URL, you would type in the URL of whatever the page is that we are talking about. Okay, well done if you didn't know that. Let's go back to our glossary of terms. So, URL is the specific address of a particular web page. Okay, let's continue with our next term, browser. Now, most people do not know what browser they're using, or indeed often what a browser actually is. So let me explain. A browser is what you use when you surf the internet. So when you turn your computer on or your laptop at home and you want to go and look for something online, what do you click on? You will click on a particular icon. It's probably one of four. You probably either click on Firefox or Safari or Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. Whichever one you click on is your browser. Simple as that. So if you hear me say something like open your browser or go to your browser, it simply means click on whatever you would normally click on when you go and surf the web. Okay, so far so good. Let's continue. The next term that I want to define is as follows: a hosting account. Now again, I'm aware that most people will know this, but let's quickly define what a hosting account is. This is where your web files are housed, your virtual home. This is how the web works. You're at home, you buy a domain name. Now, buying a domain name does not give you a website, just gives you the rights to use that particular name. And then what you do is you will create your own website at home, or get somebody to do it for you, and then you will upload to your hosting account. So a hosting account, quite simply, are boring technical servers somewhere in the world. An average hosting account costs about $10 a month, and there are many hosting companies. Probably some of the more famous ones are HostGator or Bluehost, but you do need a hosting account to be online. Let's also define probably the most obvious one, then we get a little bit more complex: domain name. I'm sure you know what this is, but it's basically the name of your website. www. whatever is your domain name, and we will be purchasing a domain name a bit later. Okay, a couple more definitions for this video, then we'll continue in video 4. Let's talk about cPanel right now. This is a very commonly used term online, but I do see an awful lot of people get confused when this is mentioned. So what is cPanel? Well, it stands for Control Panel, and every web hosting account, when you get your hosting account, every web hosting account comes with its own cPanel. Actually, I should correct myself. Not all of them do. Most of them do. A few don't. But we don't really want to worry about those because we want to make sure we do use a hosting account with cPanel. cPanel is like a dashboard. It's full of really useful things that you can use. Let me show you. Let's go to the web again. Okay, here I am back at the web, still back at Amazon, and to access your cPanel, what you do is you type in your domain name, so www. whatever your domain name is. I'm just going to type in a domain name here of one of my websites. It's called Reverie Partners. So you type in the domain name of your website, and then you would type in / and then cPanel. So your domain name / cPanel. This is how you access your cPanel. Hit enter on your keyboard. You'll be asked for your username and password that you will have been given when you created your hosting account. Enter those details, and then you will be able to access your control panel. This is what a control panel looks like, and there's loads of great things you can do in a control panel. They actually have loads of video tutorials. They have email accounts, so if you want to create a new email address, your name at yourdomainname.com, for example, or one for your partner, this is how you do it. You can check your emails via your cPanel if you want. You can forward URLs. You might well have done this before. You might have seen when you type in a URL, you get redirected somewhere else. That is done through your cPanel. Let's scroll down. Let me show you some other things we can do here. There's something here that we're going to be using later called Fantastico. This will allow us to install WordPress, and I'll be coming on to that in a few moments. You can even stop certain people seeing your website. If you're having somebody, let's say, who's continually spamming on your website, you can actually block their address. So a lot you can do from your cPanel, and every hosting account pretty much comes with a cPanel. So your cPanel is your very own control panel. We can control the world. And let's squeeze in one more term right now, FTP. This is something that scares a lot of people I know, particularly when you find out what it stands for. It stands for File Transfer Protocol. Sounds very complicated, doesn't it? This is how the web works. We touched on this a second ago. You will have a hosting account and you will create something at home. Now, to get whatever it is that you've created from your home to your hosting account, you have to upload it, whether it's a video or a web page or an ebook or an image or whatever. You have to transfer it from your computer to your hosting company's computer. Doing that, taking it from A to B, that process of uploading is known as FTP. So if somebody says to you, FTP your image, let's say, it means quite simply upload it from your computer at home to your web host's computer. Okay, let's continue our definitions in video 4.